Alright, so the new Ghost is out. So I'm gonna talk about that for a little bit. So yeah. I've been into Ghost since 2014, 15, something like that. They were one of those bands that I heard about for a while, before they put out their last album. I can't fucking pronounce the goddamn title of it. Missimia, whatever the fuck. And I checked them out, and at first I wasn't really into them because I think at the time I was into a lot heavier shit. I think that's when I was like really into like a lot of the more heavier bands that I'm into, like Arch Enemy and Lamb of God and that kind of stuff. So when I first checked them out, and I think it was I can't remember what. I think it was Convalia. I can't even fucking pronounce the name of that song, but it was off their first album. And I kind of was like, I don't know about this. And then I checked out some of the stuff off their second album, which is a lot heavier. Stuff like Ritual and... hold on, let me just pull up Ghosts on my iTunes here. Because I have a shit memory, and I can't fucking remember shit. I still have... Remember when Ghost was just called BC, too? Because there was a big issue about the name. Because I guess some other band had the name too, so I don't know. Come on. Fucking iTunes. Always when I'm doing a review. It just doesn't want it there. Okay. But yeah, their second album had like, stuff like Secular Haze, which is a really good song. Monstrous Clock, which is one of my favorite Ghost songs. Come together as one. Meliora, that's their last album with Pinnacle and Sirius and all that. Their last album they put out was really fucking good. It's one of my favorite albums of 2015, actually. But, Majesty and Absolution, and then their first album with Conclave, Condu Dio. That's the first Ghost song I ever heard. Then Ritual, which is one of my favorite songs, the same with Year Zero. This is the first Ghost album I've actually bought and listened to the whole thing. With Ghost so far, I'm a singles guy. I only like their really heavy stuff, and their lighter stuff, I'm not really a big fan of it. It's just kind of there to me. Monstrous Clock's probably the slowest song of theirs I actually like. So with prequelle, when they put out Rats, I was like, yes, because, and by the way, that's the best song on the album. I still think Rats is the best song on the fucking album. There's nothing better than that. I think it's the best song that they put out since Cerise. It's a banger of a fucking song. I've been addicted to it since they put it out. I think I've listened to it probably 30 times. The riff in that song it's got this groove to it, and it's awesome. And Rats is... If this album was more like that, I think I would be way more into it than I am. I like the first two tracks a lot. Rats and Faith. Faith is a really heavy song. So the first two tracks come out and like hit you in the face. I'm like, yes! And then they go into the ballad, See the Light. And then Missima, which is kind of another ballad. And a lot of people are talking about the saxophone in it, and I'm not really a big fan of it, so... That's just kind of my thing. Dance Macabre, which is the second single they put out, which I really like the video for that song with all the singers and people and bands doing the video. Like Phil Anselmo, who's a big Ghost fan, and I know Matt from Avenged is, and it's got Kirk Hammett in there. I know Metallica's a big Ghost fans. I will say this, I'm not trying to put this album down. I like the fact that Ghost is getting big. I like the fact that this band is now becoming more out there, and a lot more people are getting into them. To me, it was a slow burn for them. The first two albums they put out, I think people kind of got into them. If you're like me and you follow stuff like Loudwire and all the record labels and YouTube and shit, and I follow a lot of music, and you've heard about them. And then when they put out their last album, that was what kind of pushed them forward a lot. Because, Cerise, which is, I think, one of their best songs, if not their best song, really broke them bigger. And then, this album, I think, is going to even push them farther. So, I mean, hell, they won a Grammy. So, I think Ghost is going to be a bigger band, which is nice because Ghost is very original. I feel like that's the one thing I will give them. They're a breath of fresh air in metal because I love everything from Sabbath to old shit to new shit. Every kind of genre you can think of, pretty much, or at least one band, pretty much from every genre, at least one. There's some I love, tons of bands, but I think I like at least one band for the most part out of every genre of metal. So whether it's industrial or thrash or speed or black, or it doesn't matter. But the one thing I like about Ghost is they have this throwback sound to them, but it's original. It's like if you took like Black Sabbath and mixed them with I don't know. I really don't know. I'm trying to think of what I would man, kind of like like I don't know. It's of like Black Sabbath and like Judas Priest kind of had like a deformed child. That's kind of what Ghost is to me. I don't know. But again, the band, the concept's great. I've always liked the concept. I think the concept's awesome. But their music, to me, sometimes it's hit and miss. With this album, that is more evident than I think any album they put out. You know, Dance Macabre, I think it's a really good song. And then, man, you get in some... I did not like the last 3 tracks on this album. I really didn't. Witch Image is okay. Pro Meliora, I did not like at all. It's got this show tunes swing thing to it. I don't like it. And then Hellvent's Fonster is a really cool instrumental that I like. Then Life Eternal is another slower song that I like. A lot of people were saying this album's great. I disagree. I think it's really good. Is it as good as some of the other stuff that's come out this year? No. There's other albums that I liked way more than this. And if I'm judging this on it as an album, not as songs, because I really like Rats and Faith and Dance Macabre and Life Eternal and See the Light and a couple other little things here and there. But if I'm judging this as an album, as 10 tracks, I did not buy the deluxe, I bought just the standard 10 tracks album, it kind of falls short to me. And that's just me. I liked their last album a lot more. It had a lot more... And maybe it's because I'm a riff guy. I like riffs. I like shit you can sink your teeth into. There wasn't a whole lot on this album for me. It was Rats, and it was Faith, and it was Dance Macabre, and then it was like the 2 instrumentals, and then that was it. Everything else, I was just kind of like, it's just kind of there. I agree a lot with Banger TV, which I, a lot of the time, don't. That this album's not as good as some of the other stuff that came out Friday. You know, the new Nervosia, which I haven't listened to all the way through yet, but so far is becoming one of the best albums I've heard all year. And then the new Gruesome. If you've never heard of Gruesome, you need to check them out. They're one of the best newer death metal bands on the scene. I think they're fucking awesome, by the way. But my whole thing is with this is that I think they tried to go too far with it. They should have. I wish they would have done it like they did on Meliora, where it was like heavy song, slow song, heavy song, slow song, heavy song, slow song, or something like that, where they had a nice blend of, you know, a lot of guitar riffing, you know, driving hard rock heavy metal, and if they wanted to throw a slow song in there, they would, but it's not. It wasn't the whole fucking album like this, where like the first tracks come out and boom, and then the rest of the album's kind of like that's just kind of how I feel it. You know, and it's actually only 9 tracks, and if you want me to be blunt, it's only like 7 tracks because 2 of them are instrumentals. So I'm not a big fan, and this is just me, of albums that are like half an album, where half the songs have lyrics and it's just instrumentals. Like, you know what I'm saying? It reminds me of the new Avatar that came out this year, which people hated me for not liking that, but it's true. I don't like that album. I like 2 songs off of it, and that's it. I don't like the new Avatar. It's in my worst of the year. It's gonna be there. You know, this is not in my worst of the year or anything, but it's not. It's just gonna be high on, you know, the list, probably not. It'll be in the top half. You know, again, I feel the singles off of this. I feel Faith. I feel a couple other things. And that's it. So, is this their best album? No. I've seen a lot of people say it is, and I think the first three are better than this. But I think Rats is one of the best songs they've ever made, and Faith is too. So this album's very mixed for me. I like a lot of it, but yet I don't. So what do you do? But definitely go pick this up if you're a Ghost fan. It's good. I don't want it to seem like I don't like this album, because I do like this album. It's good in a lot of points, but I just don't feel like it's I see a lot of people say it's great. And I just don't know. It's not great. Last album was a lot better than this, but that's just my thoughts. Anyways, there's my review of Ghost's new album. Go check it out. It is, again, it has a lot of good strong points to it. I'm not trying to say that it's just shit and, you know, nothing like that. But I feel like there's a lot better music out there, if you want me to be honest with you. I really do. So, in terms of 2018, which has been a very, 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 very heavy year for albums, and is going to continue that trend, I think, throughout the rest of the year. It's going to kind of drop off here for a minute. There's nothing else coming out until July that I want to listen to. But so far, these first 6 months of the year have just been album after album after album after album after album. And I feel like when we get into the summer, there's going to be a lot more announcements for shit. And there's a lot of stuff coming, too. New Alice in Chains, which is going to happen. I don't know when it's coming out, but it's going to happen. And so far, I feel like this is going to be a very strong album for 2018. Because I love, what's the single? Damn it. I can't think of the name of it. I'm playing the chorus in my head. Not the one you know, that's it. I love that song. It's one of my favorite songs of the year so far. So I think the new Alice in Chains is going to be fucking awesome. And there's a lot of other bands, like, in the studio doing stuff. The new Abnormality, which I cannot wait for. And whenever they hit Ohio, I'm going to go fucking see them. They're one of my favorite newer death metal bands. I mean, they're just awesome. So, I don't know, man. There's a lot of shit coming, too, that I feel like some of these albums are going to get lost in the shuffle when it comes towards the end of the year. That's just how I feel. So, you know, that's just me. So, I'm going to give it like a 3 out of 5. That's as best as it's going to get. So, yeah. Thank you all for watching. Deuces.